At the very heart of India is an unknown jungle. A savage paradise in a rugged landscape. A wilderness of extreme contrasts. And a haven for all things wild and wonderful. Located in northern Madhya Pradesh, the Panna Tiger Reserve is close to the 10th century temples of Khajuraho. Renowned for their beautiful architecture and sensual sculptures, the temples have become world famous. But in Khajuraho's shadow lies another marvel, a jewel of a forest ruled by a supreme predator. Despite the legendary stealth, tigers often fail to make a kill. But in this forest, at least they themselves can now walk without fear. The forest of Panna was once the hunting preserve of local royalty, and many a tiger fell to the sportsman's bullet. Luckily, those days are but fading memories. On the outskirts of the park, an erstwhile royal hunting lodge, the Rajgarh Palace lies in ruins, but not for much longer. It will be restored to its former glory and turned into an eco-resort. Humans lived and hunted in Panna even in ancient times. Deep within the forest, the imprints of their exploits are still visible. This rare, prehistoric painting captures a moment from another era. Animals like the chital or spotted deer still thrive in Panna. But what about this striped ox-like animal which no longer exists? Was it driven to extinction by the early hunters? Today Panna is still a rich hunting ground, but only for those armed with a camera. It's not just Panna's animals that are captivating, but the landscape itself. Imposing plateaus and deep, spectacular gorges. Even in summer, there is a stark majesty. The Kane River, Panna's lifeline, is a magnificent sight at any time of the year. Sometimes, it's just possible to catch a glimpse of one of its marsh crocodiles. The Ken enters the park at Gerikad and meanders through the reserve for 55 kilometers. It is one of the cleanest rivers in India. Its deep pools teem with fish. The beginning of summer in March is marked with a burst of color as the flame of the forest trees come into bloom. The blossoms act as beacons for the birds, and there is constant traffic as they vie with each other for the nectar. There can be no better place for a bird watcher. All day, tree pies, plum-headed parakeets and miners flit in and out. The bonanza will not last long. All around, the forest is drying up. To conserve moisture, most of the trees shed their leaves. Each day is hotter than the last, and the temperature soars to 45 degrees centigrade. Panna is like a giant oven. The langurs huddle under what little shade they can find, but there are better ways of keeping cool. All the animal activity now revolves around the few waterholes in the forest. Drongos are experts at drinking on the wing, but most of the other birds, like the rose-ringed parakeets, have to come down to the water's edge. A crested serpent eagle causes a ripple of alarm, but it's only here to quench its thirst. Even a shy four-horned antelope or chowsinger puts in an appearance. On summer afternoons, you don't have to go looking for wildlife in Panna. A vantage point near a waterhole provides a ringside view. The deer are nervous while approaching the water, even the large sambar. Only intense thirst overrides the fear of a hidden predator. Rarely seen, yellow-footed green pigeons too come down in the evenings. In the blazing heat of summer, every puddle is like a magnet for the animals. A grey mongoose rummages in the moist soil around the waterhole for something to eat. It's been months since it rained, and the forest has turned brown and tinder dry. It's a dangerous time for the jungle and its creatures. Forest fires in Panna are invariably caused by humans who live inside and around the park. They set fire to the grass to create fresh growth for their cattle, destroying what little food and cover there is for the wildlife. Scorched by fires and the burning sun, Panna waits for the healing touch of rain. When the monsoon rains finally arrive, the transformation is magical. For leaf eaters like the langurs, happy days are here again. Panna is close to visitors during the monsoon months of July to September. Water flows everywhere, and flash floods are common. Just a few hours of rain, and a harmless stream can turn into a raging torrent. From the plateaus above, the water comes crashing down and rushes headlong towards the plains. Downstream at Rani Falls, the deluge is awesome. The flood will recede as suddenly as it began, leaving behind an emerald forest, exploding with life. One of Panna's most secretive animals is the sloth bear. Usually nocturnal, it sometimes roams the forest by daytime on overcast monsoon days. For such a large animal, the sloth bear feeds mostly on fruits and tiny insects. A favorite food item is winged termites, which emerge during the rains. For all the creatures of Panna, the monsoon is a time of milk and honey. Streams spring to life, and water cascades spectacularly down the gorges. The rush of water will soon slow down to a trickle, but the legacy of the monsoon will see Panna through another year. By October, this jewel of central India will once again be ready to welcome its visitors.